But the question is, Ashley, who is the MVP or who should be the NBA MVP?
It's a great
State
question.
your case.
It's a great question. I just don't understand why the NBA changes its standards every season of what they constitute as an MVP. Is it wins? Is it being the best player on the best team? Is it PER? Is it the scoring title? You know, every season it's different, and I'm getting quite fed up with it. There needs to be like a checklist, right? Like a set standard. And my MVP is going to go to Devin Booker. He is the best player on the best team, putting up MVP numbers, 27 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists.
Cut off her microphone.
No, I mean, to me, I just look at it like I know you're probably going to go with Joel Embiid or Nikola Jokic, which is fair, which is fair. But at the same time, Philly's in 8th place in the league. Yeah, he won the scoring title, but when you look at bigs, they are always going to be scoring those numbers. I expect Joel Embiid and Jokic and Giannis to be putting up 27-plus points every game. That's just who they are. And then you think about the quality of their shot as well. They're all around the basket. When you look at guys like Booker, Trae Young, Ja Morant, the quality of the shots that they take are at a high level. And also, you know, I already know people are going to come at me like, oh, well, you know, he's not scoring the most points, but he has the most impact, right? When you look at the 2014, 2015 season, Steph Curry was the MVP, averaging 23 points. Yeah, they were number 1 in the league, right? It mattered.
No one was doing what Steph Curry was doing. That guy was absolutely
except Klay Thompson on his team, who had 21
unconscious.
points that season, averaging as well. But that's the thing is, like, why are we not ever looking at Devin Booker or anyone on the Phoenix Suns who have the best record in the league? 64 wins this season. Like, how does that not matter? And then people want to say Joel Embiid when they're in 8th place. Like, ooh, the scoring title. I mean, I get, you know, that's cool and all, but, like, I want to see wins. That matters to me. It really does. I mean, I think I have a great argument here. I really do. I mean, that's the thing is just, like, Booker is the best player on the best team, and everyone can say, oh, since Chris Paul has came in, he made the difference, but the Suns were very close to making it in the playoffs the year before Chris Paul came there. Remember that stretch of games they won in the bubble where they almost made it? I mean, you have to factor that in, too. And I know that you need a star player around you, but Chris Paul came to Phoenix to play with Devin Booker.
I'm going to jump in here.
Okay,
all right.
let's hear your
I do 100% respect the respect that you're giving Devin Booker. He deserves some more. And I think ever since you posted on your IG story saying, like, he deserves some more love, I know you talked to Damian Lillard, and I appreciate that Devin Booker's getting some more love.
Ja Morant said it too. There's a lot of players that are like, Booker is the MVP of this league.
As he finally started cracking into the top 10 of some of those major categories. And obviously he's a very unselfish guy, and he's been able to make his team better. He's been able to make his teammates better individually and collectively. The Suns fever around this area, it's been a lot of fun. It's been amazing. I won't take a lot of credit. Ever since I moved here, they've been looking kind of nice. But someone like Joel Embiid and Nikola Jokic. I'm going to talk about Jokic first.
Okay,
I know you're a Nuggets gal.
I am. I love the Nuggets.
I would have to give it to Nikola Jokic.
That's fair.
No one has ever had 2,000 plus points, 1,000 plus rebounds, and 500 plus assists. This guy is not only leading his team in all of those categories, he's leading his team in blocks, steals, and field goal percentage. This guy's at the top of many major categories, and he is just the catalyst for making this team a playoff team. Without Murray, he's done it without a few other guys that have been hurt on his team.
Michael Porter.
And Michael Porter Jr. has been hurt, and that's been such a bummer for them. But that guy has put the team on his back.
He has.
And he also looks like a kind of guy that would put the team on his back. He's just an ogre. He said, follow me to the promised land. Follow me to the playoffs. I don't think they're going to be able to – I'm not going to tell you yet. I'll tell you how I think they're going to fare in the playoffs. But Nikola Jokic, no one has done what he has done ever. And
I agree.
I think Embiid deserves a lot of love too. So I don't know if it's ever been this close in my lifetime with an MVP. everyone's got a new case for somebody. And even Jason Tatum's getting a little bit of love, too, deservingly so. They're the number 2 team in the East. But Jokic, I don't think anyone has done what he's done or anybody has been as impactful. So Devin Booker, unbelievably impactful for his team. If he was out, obviously that team would struggle mightily.
Exactly.
But I think if the Nuggets had Jokic out, they wouldn't even be sniffing the playoffs. They wouldn't even be close at all. They'd probably be hanging out with the Lakers on the couch right now.
What if they had Jamal, though, without Jokic?
That's what I'm saying, though.
You know, like there's still things you got to factor in. Like, yeah, without 3-star players, of course, they're not going to make it to the playoffs. But you know what's also a very interesting point? Remember a couple years ago, everyone was riding high on the guards and, it's a guard league. And, all these big men are going to sift out of the league because they can't shoot 3-pointers. And now look at this. We have 3 bigs who are in the MVP race right now in the top 3. And then the past 3 years, it was Giannis twice, and then Jokic, and then potentially Jokic again. Like, I thought the big man was fizzling out, right? Like, what happened with all that?
Well, what's fun is Karl Anthony Towns won the 3-point competition.
Yeah.
Like that. I mean, I thought it was kind of whack.
Yeah, I mean, all
that
those
he won,
competitions
but
are.
That's where there's an aspect of Steph Curry. There was like an aura around him. Like he was leading the league in so many major categories. He took the team to number 1.
Except scoring.
And I mean, but still, like he was changing. He changed the game.
He did.
And it was not saying that Devin Booker isn't a must watch because there's a lot of guys in the league like Devin Booker, Ja Morant. Unfortunately, Luka's hurt right now, but that's another guy that's a must watch. You know, KD and Kyrie together, I think that duo is a must watch. But I think Steph Curry, you could don't miss a game. Like that was where you had to tune in all the time.
Yeah, and then another thing too with Devin Booker that I have to give him praise for. I know I sound like I'm the biggest Devin Booker fan in the world. But just like being able to when I've interviewed him and knowing him on a personal level, like even when the Suns were struggling, he never shied away from interviews. He answered every question. He was always made available. He never complained. Didn't complain in Kentucky when he was coming off the bench. Didn't complain when he did not have all these star players around him. Didn't complain when he had all those all-star snubs. Which he had again this year, and I know I mentioned that, which I think was just absolutely ridiculous. They're going to put him on the first team, which he deserves, but then he doesn't make the NBA All-Star team. He makes as like a reserve spot, which is just, to me, it's like, when Kendrick Perkins, like the most disrespected player in the league is Trae Young. I'm like, what about Devin Booker? Like, how come we can never just give him credit where it's due?
Kendrick Perkins also said the Lakers were going to win potentially 70+ games.
Yeah, he did. So I'm not going to take everything. I'm going to take everything he says with a grain of salt. But at the end of the day, Devin Booker needs to have more love, for real. I mean, we gotta give the best team with the best player. I think those MVP nods.
Yeah, and the thing I respect the most, though, about Devin Booker is he's able to date a Kardashian, still perform at a high level.
Yeah,
There's a lot of guys that it's the Kardashian curse. You date somebody, and it's just like, your career.
Maybe she's a Jenner, so maybe there's something there because she's a Jenner. I don't know.
All right, a Jenner Kardashian. I mean, to me, I've never watched Keeping Up with the Kardashians.
I loved it.
But I feel like there's Keeping Up with the Kardashians NBA boyfriends. And you watch Tristan Thompson. Yikes. Chris Humphries, woof.
Yeah.
And then Devin Booker's found a way. And then we got Dominic back here. Also, shout out to him for getting me this Breakaway laptop cover. So fuego, but he is a big Sacramento Kings fan. And he's back there in my ear talking about shout out to Tristan Thompson as a Sacramento King.
Can you imagine being a Kings fan?
Dom, timeout. I'm gonna put Dom in timeout. It's got to be tough because speaking of the Kings, real quick, this is the longest drought I think in the NBA to not make the playoffs. 16 years.
Yep, something crazy like that. And even all those years they had DeMarcus Cousins on their team, and he was putting up big numbers, and they couldn't make it to the playoffs. Insane. I think the best game I ever saw live was DeMarcus Cousins. I think that was maybe 4 years ago. I went to Golden One Center. It's honestly one of the best arenas in the league in Sacramento. Every single seat feels great. There's some open areas where you can just stand your room only. DeMarcus Cousins put up the quietest 50 I've ever seen in my life. Wow.
And I don't know if you remember the game, but he swung at somebody and he got a tee and it looked like he was supposed to be ejected. And then he came back on the floor to shoot free throws. It was like the weirdest thing. There was no challenge whatsoever, but
Not shocking at
prayers
all.
prayers for Dom and every single one of you Sacramento Kings fans out there. But you're going Devin Booker MVP.
I'm going Devin Booker MVP.
I'm going Nikola Jokic. Nothing but respect for you, Ashley.
Yeah.
But she's wrong.
No, you are so wrong. I mean, honestly, I think the toss-up's going to be between Joel and Jokic. Like, based on, like, who people are voting for, because I take a look at what all the reporters are voting for, and, like, they have either Joel or Jokic. And honestly, like you said, you can make cases for literally every one of those guys, but, like, I have to look at the best record in the league with the best player on that team who's still putting up MVP numbers. So I have to give it to Book.
Respect. Giannis looked great this year, too.
Yep.
But I know there's going to be other individual NBA awards. We got the Defensive Player of the Year, Sixth Man, all that stuff. And, I mean, Monty Williams, too, another fantastic year coaching. The Suns just keep doing it. All right, we're switching gears. But before we switch gears, if you guys are not subscribed to us on YouTube, subscribe. Press the bell. Ding, 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 ding. You'll get all that good stuff sent right to you. We're also on Instagram at TPUSA Breakaway. You're following us, right?
Of course I am.
Let's go.
I mean, why would I not? Anyone that's not subscribed or following, like, what are you doing with your life?
Ladies and gentlemen, if she said no, she would have been out.